My name is Serena Buffalino. I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
Yay! I always like to see the little children do that at the end of that video. I just want to just put special thanks out to Serena Buffalino. She is truly an angel when it comes to helping children, especially in different countries right now. She's working very hard in Haiti. That's one of her, I call her babies, what she does. And she's really trying to, tomorrow, in fact, just real quickly, she is basically sending over, I think, over $25,000 in food and water and everything for the children. So, and, you know, she just put it out there and told everybody, I need help. I need help packing. I need help putting it in, you know, because she's shipping it off and she's in Canada. And Barbara Ellis would love this because she's from Canada, a native. And she's just really rock and rolling and getting and helping those children in Haiti. So just put a prayer out for her and just put some love and some vibes out for her, because she can't do it alone, as we all can't do it alone. So I'm going to put that quest out there right now. And also to remind everybody, not just show the Diamond Perspective show, but I also have on the network Help Heal Humanity show that comes on every Thursday night, which is tonight. And basically we spotlight other nonprofits and we spotlight Help Heal Humanity as well. So I did my little commercial right now. But now we're going to go right here in the, what they say, talk about the present. And the present is that you are here to start to watch the Diamond Perspective show. Yes, with the wonderful queens, the queens of the network. And I'm telling you, I just said earlier, it takes more than one person. I would never, and I mean this, never be able to do this without the queens coming on with me, all the other expert ladies that come on and we talk about different topics. So I just want to, before we even start, I always want to thank them first, because, we start talking and getting into the conversation and then I don't even get a chance to say, well, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So I'm doing that now and getting that out the way. But we're really good tonight. We're going to talk about commitment. We're going to talk about commitment to you. We're going to talk about commitment to others. And we might dab a little bit in commitment to your clients, because, we take this, we talk about personal and we talk about business. So we do a little bit of, like, mixing it up a little bit so you can get a different flavors. And so we're going to hear from these experts and we're going to really dive deep when it comes to commitment. So I want you to think about that. Think about what that meaning is to you. I always tell people, one word can mean so much different to a whole bunch of other people, but just think of it how it means to you, and we're going to dive into that. But we have to show some love. We always have to show some love. I always say to our sponsors. So let's show a little love to our sponsors, and then I'll be back with the queens, the experts. Here we go. They're back. Hello, my wonderful queens, and
hello.
Just to see you.
There. Hey. Hello. Great to be with all of you.
Yeah, so we have Miss Gloria, Karen, and the other Barbara, part of the other BBs, as we call each other. So this is going to be, I already see this is going to be a very interesting and explosive conversation tonight. But before we get into it, I always want to give, the flowers from each and every one of you, just kind of explain, just who you are and what do you do in 30 seconds. And then we dive deep into the conversation. So let's start with Karen.
Oh boy, that's me. I'm Karen Stultz of the Awesome Life Success System for online coaches who really want to create a lifestyle online business that brings them more focus, more fun, and more financial freedom.
Love it, love it, love it. And Mrs. Gloria Grace.
Hello. Yes, I am Gloria Grace Rand, and I am a spiritual alignment coach. And my mission is to help you align with the truth of who you are, your divine identity, so that you can live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically in your life and your business.
That's technology at its best. It just booted me out. Okay. Thank you. Gloria. See, it was so powerful, Gloria, just booted me out of what you were saying. You're that powerful. Wow. I'm loving it. And Miss Barbara, introduce yourself.
I'm Barbara Essen, and I am a transformational life trainer, and I work with people in the second half of their life to age gracefully. Because aging gracefully isn't about trying to look like a 30-year-old. It's about living your best life ever and having the mental, the physical, and the financial fitness to enjoy it. To look and feel spectacular for years to come. So, I mean, we've been given a bill of goods and we can't have that, and we can. So
yeah, I'm loving it. And we should, and like you always say, Barbara, every day we need to cherish. Everybody says every day we need to cherish. I always say every second of the day we need to cherish, because you never know. So, put your flowers out there to people, make sure that you're, coming back and saying, hey, you know what, I was just thinking about you today, or whatever that you have to do. But remind yourself that every day is not promised. Every second is not promised. So make it happen. Like you said, make it happen. So my name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I am a purpose, visibility, and social media strategist. And I help women just dig more deeper into their purpose and really understand their uniqueness is so bright. It should be bright and shining to others. And then once they understand that, I try to help all in the visibility area, getting them everywhere on platforms and helping them, get to that next level. And then, the social media world, everybody knows about that, where that's a whole nother world. And I kind of help the women kind of maneuver in that by strategizing in their business. So that's what I do. So let's just dig deep. So I always have a quote. I bring my quotes with me.
I like it.
I got the quote. So I want to share a quote with us because it talks about, put this to the side so people see it. So it talks about what we're going to talk about tonight. And, well, first I'll read the quote. When you make a commitment, you create hope. When you keep a commitment, you create trust. And I came up with this topic because I was thinking about, we're in October now. So the year is kind of, everybody's looking at that year end and like, okay, did I get anything done? You know how that goes. Everybody's going through that little cycle saying, okay, what did I get done? What do I still need to get done? What did I commit to? What I didn't finish the commitment, or whatever the case may be. So then I was thinking, I said, okay, we always put so much stress a lot of times on ourselves and beat ourselves up for things. So I just wanted to kind of talk about commitment in your world. How do you look at that? And then we can branch off and talk about, for commitment for you, commitment for family and friends, and then commitment for business. So let's start with ourselves first and then go from there.
Are you going to call on us?
No, this is a free up for all. You could just come in.
Okay, then I'll start. Because I have the best name because I match the host. So. Anyways, for me, commitment is that inner, like for me, it's the inner dialogue that you're saying that you intend to do something, either for your and either for yourself or for someone else. And I love your quote, because when you make a commitment to somebody, it does give them hope. But when you do keep it, it's like, oh, I can rely on that person. And the thing is, I have found for myself, once in a while, and more often than I really care to admit, I will I'll say something, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I don't get it done. And of course, then what am I doing? I'm beating myself up. What's wrong with you that you didn't get this done? And at that moment, that's when I have to say, Barbara, because I have been committed to giving myself a little bit of grace, because you know what? Life happens.
Mm-hmm.
Life happens. So yes, I've made a commitment to myself, and but once in a while, if you can't keep it, then also have a commitment to give yourself grace. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Does that make sense? Sometimes it's like, does that make sense? Yeah.
It absolutely does. My goodness, Barbara, don't we all do that upon occasion? We say we're going to do something, and that is a commitment when we say we're going to do something, and then we don't. And it's how we handle it from that point. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, a real commitment is a declaration.
Oh, right.
I declare that at this time, this moment in time, I am declaring, I am laying my sword in the sand. I am going to do this. And with that commitment, with a declaration, I generally follow through. But if it's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk today, and I'm going to exercise. I commit to doing that. Yeah. I may not do that.
Just the way you say it, Karen, is like, I don't think you're going to commit to that.
I don't think that's a real commitment. No.
I think then
maybe they're different levels.
Well, it sounds to me like sometimes it's more of an intention. We set an intention to do something, but as you know, if you're not quite 100% committed to really following through on that, then you're going to have to give yourself some grace, or you're going to beat yourself up over it, because it's either one or the other. And it's, I mean, I've done it both ways. I've been committed. I think it comes down to, what is your why? Is it strong enough to really, sustain you in those moments when you start getting, a little weak and like, oh, I don't know if I want to keep through to this, a commitment. Sometimes, it could be a health commitment or something even in your personal relationships. So if you can remember to go back and look at, okay, why am I doing this? What was the reason that I committed to this? Okay, does it still hold? And then if it does, then I think that then helps you to then stay more committed to it.
I love you bringing that up, Gloria. That is so important. And I think it's a really vital thing when it comes to commitment, because that, to me, when you look at, okay, your why, your purpose, as I say, why or purpose to me is like this almost same. And then you commit yourself towards that why. It gives you those boundaries, in a sense, in your mind, because you're saying, okay, well, the reason I committed is because it's going towards my why. And the reason why I didn't commit to this because it's not really going towards my why, or I don't believe in that, so I'm not going to commit to that. So it kind of helps you with your boundaries of saying, okay, am I going to commit to everything? Because I'm telling myself, I used to commit to everything because I thought I needed to help the world and everybody and, everybody. And then got myself in trouble. And then I was losing that trust factor. I was losing integrity because I really wasn't holding on to that commitment, because I spreaded myself too far. So then I had to go back and say, okay, Barbara, why are you really doing this? Is this even something that you really want to do? Is this something that's going towards what, like you said, Gloria, your why? So then that helped me back and say, okay, I got to really look at this a little bit more clear. And I did. And it helps me. And hopefully, it helps others when they look at that. So I'm glad you brought that up, Gloria. That was a good point.
Yeah. And that's such a good point, Barbara, because one of the things that I have realized is that sometimes it's like in my flesh, I commit to something because I should be able to do that. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. And one day, I'm going to talk about telling on ourselves. A week or so ago, I had one of those things that, Barbara, oh, yeah, you're going to do this. And it just sounded so perfect. And it was in alignment with my why and the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm. And then I was struggling doing it. Mm-hmm. And finally, I asked the intelligent question. Mm-hmm. So I took a moment to step back and said, why am I having so much trouble doing this? Well, your inner voice is really smart. And what came up was because you're not supposed to be doing it. But I didn't consult my inner voice, my inner intuition, that person, that intuition that you have inside of you that will give you inspired action to take. I had not consulted that. I had just decided that I was going to do this. And of course, then just fell apart and went, yeah, you're not supposed to be doing this. So I delegated it to somebody who loves to do it. My VA said, oh, that would be fun to do.
I know you said, I wish I knew that before I committed.
You followed through on your commitment, though, Barbara.
You gave somebody else.
But I gave it to somebody else.
And you tried it. You committed to try it. And you succeeded in finding out that this was not your forte, and you gave it away.
I was not supposed to be doing it.
And I find the same thing. Now, I still have a commitment to myself to figure out the lighting. As you can see, my lighting is kind of an issue that I've been working with the queens and any number of other people to help me fix. We've not gotten there yet, but it's still a commitment. Yes. I don't have the deadline until it works. But I have all of these lights all around me. Uh-huh. Do they work? Not yet. But that's okay. It will happen in some fashion, in some way. And that's okay too. That is a commitment. As long as we don't beat ourselves up for not achieving it in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Because you can renegotiate.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can always, whether it's renegotiating with yourself or renegotiating with somebody else that you've maybe, said that you committed to, and then you realized, oh, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. But if you go to them before, like the deadline or something, and say, hey, I thought I could do this, but I can't, then it's okay. And then that way that keeps you still in integrity because you were able to do it rather than, just not showing up or doing it and then feeling terrible about it because you weren't being in integrity with yourself, if I can speak. So that's the important thing. You can always renegotiate.
Now I want to go back to that. I want to go back to that renegotiating, but I want to go back to Karen, what she said about when you said, okay, you made a commitment, but if you delegate to somebody, you're still upholding that commitment. And I love that because who said in the rules or somewhere down said, well, you make a commitment, you have to do it all yourself. No one else can do that commitment except for you because you said you was going to do it. But I love how, Karen, you brought that out. And I think a lot of people need to understand.
Thank you for that.
Delegate it, especially if it's not your lane of expertise.
Right.
But then you still committed yourself for that, whatever. And then you're like, well, you found someone else to do it. But you completed a commitment. You did two things. You completed the commitment. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you help somebody else out do what they like to do. And you delegate.
You
Yeah.
came up with the idea of something that needed to be done. You made the commitment to have that idea accomplished. And there is absolutely no need to beat yourself up if you ask for help. We all need help. How many
Mhm.
times have I reached out to people for help? Has it helped? Not with my lighting, but I will
We gotta
find
get
that person. I will find the situation. It will
I know that's
happen.
been a
I
while.
am
We can
committed.
Oh,
And it is
one of the
better.
things that
Uh-oh.
It's better to get something done than have it be perfect. So that's why I'm here tonight.
so you're here.
Yeah.
One of the things for me that has helped, like, Barbara is a social media expert. And so she talks about, like, plan out your social media. Just at the beginning of the month, plan out your social media so that you know what you're doing. And I have to admit, she's been telling me that for quite a while. And I think this is the first month that I've actually done. We've been on this show together for 2 years, over 2 years. And did I take her advice yet? No. But this month I did. And what a difference. She's a genius. Gee, Barbara, make a plan. It has been such a so I've got a calendar. I know when I'm going to do I know when I'm going to do my lives. I have something on you can't see it, but something on every day of what I'm going to do. And I've got it so that it's planned out, know what I'm going to post, and then how to get it figured out, how to get it off of it. Because one day I was like, why can't I get my posts, my business page, and onto my personal page and and move it over to LinkedIn too? And I went, Barbara, your co-host is a social media expert. Ask her. So I did on the show. Was it last week or the week before? And you should see it hardly takes me any time at all because she said, Barb, do this. And it was like, oh, I can do that. And now, so so when you've made a commitment, what Karen just said, reach out for help, and there are no silly questions.
No silly questions.
And make a plan. And listen to your friends that tell you what to do. When you're the expert.
Well, first of all, I'm so glad that it worked out for you finally. It did. And then that just shows me that maybe I need to do a different way of approaching people. So see, sometimes things happen for reasons and you got to look back and say to yourself, okay, well, maybe I need to tweak something. Maybe I need to do something different. So that's why we help each other. And that's why I love bringing the queens here, and we learn from each other. We grow from each other, and we respect and encourage each other. So this is wonderful. And what I wanted to say before we get into commitment for family and friends, because that's a whole different type of animal sometimes, that I just want to say, when you're committing, just to stress what Karen has said a lot tonight already, and Gloria, don't beat yourself up. I know it's so easy to do. It really is. I mean, we're not going to be like, oh, it's always going to be just never beat yourself up. I mean, it's going to happen. And I want to let you know it's going to happen, but just take the time, take those steps and say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I didn't get it done. The commitment police is not going to come down and arrest you. I told that to somebody the other day. They said, I didn't do this. I didn't get it done. Da, da, da. I said, okay, let's count to 10 or 20 or how you got to count up to. And I'm going to say the commitment police is not going to get you. There is no commitment police. And they were like, no. I said, no. So they calmed down. But like you said, we just got to just take that energy of getting all beaten up on ourselves, take that energy just to move forward. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about commitment regarding family and friends. How's that going with everybody? How do you do that? Right?
I love that. I do. I find it a whole lot easier to commit to family and friends than it is to commit to myself or even business for that matter. So it's a whole lot easier to say, yeah, let's go out and have some fun.
Yes.
Or whatever. But when I make a commitment specifically to my family, to my husband, I will uphold that. However, if there is a possibility that I don't want to do that, I phrase it in a different way. So it isn't really a commitment. It's more of, if it's possible, I have to check my calendar. I have to look at this. If it works out, yeah, the possibility is there that we can do such and such. But if I will not commit to it until, if I don't feel it in my heart, I just won't do it.
So now, how do you get around that? I just got a question. I mean, I'm sorry, Barry, before quickly. So how did the question I was going to put out there? How do you get around that? Because, like I said, when you commit to yourself, you can kind of get away with some things because it's just you. It's just like you're just whatever. If you don't do it, whatever, it's like, okay, that's on you. But when you start bringing in other parties involved, like family and friends, and they're like, okay, Karen, we need you. Let's all just do this. Yes. And you're in the background like, but no, I really don't want to do that. But how do you how do you kind of maneuver and still be like, well, we're all still family, but I don't want to do that?
Yeah. Well, again, it's communication. It's how you phrase things. Because indeed, I have a commitment to family and friends, not to cause pain on purpose, not to hurt anybody. That's not my nature. It's none of our natures here as the queens. Right. We don't do that. So how can we do something else? Simply, instead of saying yes or no, maybe. Let me see how things work out. I have some other things that I am committed to. If I can finish those, or I can rearrange my schedule, I will do the best I can. So maybe I can join you and go partying down and shopping. Maybe I can join you and just hang out and watch TV. Maybe I can join you. But then I do make commitments when people are coming to my home. You might have noticed I've not been on the internet much. Definitely not on social media, because my son from England was here for a week and a half. And I love everybody out there, but guys, I'm not going to be talking to you. You're going to get your emails way late.
And that's okay. So you create a boundary because, like, my son is here. I'm committed to making sure that I spend time with family and friends, and that's that's awesome. We all need to do that, and it's part of self-care too. Yeah.
But learning to say maybe.
Yeah.
That's huge.
One of the things for me, once in a while, when my husband was alive, we would get caught in doing a family thing. And one of the things that I learned was that, honey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you really want to do this? And if he said 6 or above, I would go, okay, yeah, let's go do it, But there were times where he said, well, to tell you the truth, I'm like a 3. I was like, okay, well, I'm a 3 too. So let's agree as a couple that we are not going to do that. And you can break it to your family that we're not going to do it.
That's funny.
Once in a while, you do get caught in that. And but one time how I learned that to do it more often. One day we had committed to going to do this, and I just said, I really don't want to. I can't remember what it was, but I said to David, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to do this? And he said, well, I'm like maybe 5. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah. I said to him, but you seemed so excited about doing it. He said, that's because I thought you wanted to do it. And I went, okay. And I was excited because I thought he wanted to do it.
That's
then
funny.
when we came up with the number system, it made our lives. I mean, when anybody asked us to do anything, David, 1 to 10. Or he would, because if it was something on my side, or he would say, Barbara, 1 to 10. And that was our, and we like, and
I love it. I love it.
we're both 8 or 9. Oh, and then we would celebrate the fact that we both wanted to do it. We were excited about doing it. We made all the prep. Well, because he was the planner, so he got to plan to his heart's content. And I would come in and go, what plans have you made? Oh, okay, yeah, great, thanks, bye. Oh, wait, okay. Oh, and I would come home the next day. Gee, honey, what plans have you made? Okay, because I was kind of the one that, all right, let's just go. And so when it was time for us to let's just go, he would say, Barb, let's just go. Oh, perfect. Let's go.
Well, I've got a question. Do you all find that it's easier now that you're older to be able to do that? To be able to do the maybe? Because I remember when I was newly married and I went to, I think, 3 different Thanksgiving dinners because I had to go to my mom's, I had to go to my mother-in-law's, and then I think I went to somebody else's house too, whatever. But it was always like the holidays. I had to, because I had to keep my commitment to the families to be able to keep everybody happy. But I do think it, or at least for me, as well as what you said, I think it's definitely easier now that I'm older. But I know it wasn't easy when I was younger. What do you all think?
Yeah.
No.
You know, Gloria,
See everybody's face like,
that's
I
true.
hear you. I hear you.
And I think I've learned to be a little bit more selective about what I do really commit to with the family things. And sometimes, like somebody had just a week or so ago, somebody called me up and they were planning a church celebration of life. Barb, can you bring an appetizer? I was like, I do not have time to make anything. It was just one of those. So I wrote back to her and said, hey, you know what? What are you looking for? And she came back with, ask a question. Well, what kind of appetizer are you looking for? She said, oh, chips and dip would be perfect. I went, you're on. I went to the store and bought chips and dip. I got the ask a question.
That my mind went directly to chips and dip. There, cheese and crackers, chips and dip. That
or buy a fruit plate, or buy a fruit tray,
or veggie plate. Or veggie plate. I got like 4 things in my head when it comes to appetizers. When I have to go somewhere and bring appetizers. So you got 4 things I want to get because I can all just run to the store and get it. I don't have to make it if I don't need to.
It was like, because normally they know that I will make dessert. And it was just like, so I was so glad. Number one, she asked me, because I don't like to take store-bought cookies. I mean, but I have. But the gourmet store-bought cookies that you can't, and put them on a fancy plate. Let's be honest.
I'm glad you said that. I don't feel so bad now because I've done that many times.
Yeah, they're a whole lot better than my cookies.
Oh, Bob, you made them cookies? No, but I put it on my plate.
Well, one of the things that I've done, and this is technically a lie, I buy the ones that you have to cut up and bake, that you put in the oven and bake. And so I would say, oh, Barbara, I would say, oh, yeah, these are home baked. I didn't make them, but they're
true. But you baked them at home.
They were at home and they were you baked them.
It's how they phrase the question.
Yes.
So I recently, as I've gotten older, I go to the frozen food section and get cream puffs, and
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
loves the cream puffs. So
Mm.
that's great. Put them out there. Karen, you make cream puffs? Yeah. I don't actually mention that it was like 30 years ago I made cream puffs. Sure, I make cream puffs. Sure, I do.
Made them in 30 years, but yeah, I make.
But these aren't they. No, I finally they got onto it. So now they all say, "Oh yeah, all right, we're using Karen's cream puffs."
Yes.
Because I committed to bringing them. I did a commitment. So
I committed.
you committed. You're committed. So now it's funny because now we started off talking about commitment to you, which is kind of you make your own decisions. You like yes or no. Now we got into family and friends. Is not too quickly to say yes or no. It's more to the middle, like, well, maybe kind of thing. So I just want to say before we get to business clients, what do you think about that? Because somewhere down the line, I'm thinking this is my take on it when it comes to family and friends. And I've learned this through, like Barbara always said, we learn through our mistakes and we learn through other people. That saying no quickly and early is better than saying no maybe later. And what I mean by that is if you say no early, then they can make the decision to say, oh, either they gotta find somebody to bring the appetizer or they have to change some things around. They have a much earlier time to do that than to sit there while I'm doing my maybes or still thinking about it and time is passing by. And then all of a sudden, you know what? I thought about it. Aunt Anna, I'm just making up a name. Aunt Anna, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to commit myself to appetizer either. And it's 2 weeks out. And the first thing I know Aunt Anna's going to say is, really, Barbara, you couldn't tell me that like a month and a half ago? Did you really? Now I got to find somebody. So now you got that going on. And sometimes I notice to avoid some of that. Not all the time. Sometimes you still got to do a maybe sometime. But sometimes when you do the early no, it doesn't get you in trouble when you do the late no.
Yeah, because you can always change a no to a yes. And at the last, and even at the last minute, oh, I find I am going to be able to come. Is there anything you're still needing?
That's a wonderful way of doing it. Changing a no to a yes, though, sometimes. So you're having a sit down dinner. All right.
Once in a while.
Example, I had somebody say no, they were not going to be coming to our home for whatever. And fine. So I made arrangements and other people are coming. And then they called up and said, oh, we'll come and we'll spend the night. And I said, oh,
what?
Well, the offer was originally to come and spend the night, but since you said no, I have made other plans.
Yeah.
And that can be an issue. So if you say no right away,
I think it depends on the situation. Yeah. If, like I said, you got to know the whole thing to take of, okay, it was spending the night, you know, you have certain food that they need. I mean, you got to look at all that. And then if you say no, it might have to stay a no, because like you said, Karen, if you come up, a week later, oh, you know what? I decided to come. Yay, I'm going to stay tonight. Well,
and that was
some things.
It's still 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
But I made other plans.
I think it depends on the people involved too, because, you know, depending on whether there's somebody who is flexible or somebody who's like, if you know that they're going to be like really upset if you change your mind at the last minute, you better be sure that you decide right away what your decision is going to be and then stick to it, because then it's just going to cause more trouble down the road.
And
yes, Gloria. Yeah.
It is the commitment. And I felt, okay, I didn't know what was behind their change of mind. And for me, I had made the offer. So to me, that was a commitment. And I did not inform them that I had changed my plans, because I didn't want them to feel badly, because I had made this offer. And it was a little challenging. So my husband and I did some brainstorming and what could possibly have changed and how could I do it? How could I solve the problem? And I did. I figured out a way. So now I feel like I upheld my commitment. They said no. They're not hurt. I'm not hurt. I'm not stressed. They're not stressed. Everything is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes that's such a good learning lesson of just being able to be flexible.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can't. Absolutely. Sometimes you can't. But once in a while, it's a good exercise to just say, hey, you know what? How else can I figure this out? Because we are so often, and I know for myself, I think this way so often, I always think that it has to be either or. It doesn't always have to be either or. Sometimes it can be and.
That's true.
Oh,
That's true.
I can't do this, but I can do that. So, that would work. And put that suggestion once in a while. That just because I can't come at 4:00, would it be okay if I came at 6? Would that change? You know, those kinds of things. So I've gotten, and I think it's as I've gotten older. Number one, I'm more willing to just say, hey, you know what? What can we do? Rather than trying to make a decision without asking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Barbara just asked.
Yeah. Communication. Like you said, communication is the key. And asking those questions are very important. Yeah. And like Gloria said, it depends on the individual too, or the people that you're dealing with. You know, I know some people, I just have to let them know at a time in family, yes or no. They need to know. And then I had some other family members and friends. They're like, well, you know what? You can make a decision, Barbara. Don't, you know, we're good. So it depends on the person. And I know the people that said, Barbara, either yes or no. I mean, they'll come to me and ask me, yes or no, Barbara. Well, I was thinking yes or no. Right. I was like, okay, you make it okay. Well, today, no, then, because you're forcing me to say it.
Right.
And you know what? It does get easier as you get older, because as you get older, you get wiser. And I don't know about you guys, but I do not enjoy going someplace and doing something with somebody who does not want to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hand raised on that.
So they just say, you know, so we had, again, another situation, and we have a wonderful agreement, my husband and I. It's great. We just say, okay, I'm going to do it because I want to have fun. I'm going to do this. And I would love to have your company if you would like to do it as well. So when I asked him if he wanted to do something recently, he said, let me look at the calendar, and yeah, I could do that. And I said, no. No. Do you want to do this? Because if you don't, I don't want to go with you. And he said, yeah, I could do that. So Barb, when you mentioned the 1 to 10, all right, I'm stealing that. We're going to make that on a scale of 1 to 10 because I can do that. I said, no, I can does not. I don't care if you can or not. Do you want to?
Right. Because there's a difference. There is a difference. Do you? So that's what it was like. Brother, I was trying to do it because I thought he wanted to do it, and he was doing it because he thought I wanted to do it. And so that's where the number system came up.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I have a question before we get to clients and the commitment. This is for your 1 to 10 thing. I love the concept, but I'm going to throw something out there. How about if you, another person, says a 5? Isn't that like middle? Is it? So who breaks that?
Then we talk about it. We'll talk about the pros and cons, the situation, who we're going with.
Okay, that's another discussion. Okay,
it leads to a rational discussion.
Mm.
As opposed to
I
flipping
thought
a coin, right?
as opposed to, well, we did flip a coin too, but it got us away from, well, I'm only going because I thought you wanted to go. Well,
Yeah.
I'm only going because I thought you wanted to go. Okay, so let's have a rational conversation about this because we're both a 5.
Yeah, that's what because I was like, dang, how they're both a 5? Then what? Then what do you do?
Is it worth the time, energy, and money to do it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was exactly it. Is it worth the time, money, and energy to do it? Or is there something else that we would rather do that we are both an 8 or a 9 to do?
That's
because then you can go back to the person and say, you know what? David and I already have plans. Doesn't matter that the plans were made after. David and I already have plans.
and that goes into, you don't have to tell everybody everything. See, that goes into that. They don't need to know all the background of it. They just need to know you have plans.
That you have plans.
You have plans. So talking about, let's go straight into it because the timing, I just want to kind of get your take a little bit. Now we're talking about commitment. We talked about commitment to you, commitment to family and friends. Now let's talk about commitment regarding our business, like when we're dealing with clients. Now that's a little bit of a different animal too. So what are your take on it? I want to start with Gloria on that.
Well, I would say if you take on a client and you want to be able to serve them the best that you can, that means you're committed to them and you're going to do that. So case in point, I was traveling on Monday, but I knew that always on Mondays, I send a blog article to them and then I upload it on their emails on MailChimp. And so I did that from the airport. I, contacted them because I had a commitment to them and I didn't want them being late just because I was out of town. That being said, there are sometimes certain cases where you wind up with clients that you realize are not the best fit for you. And so even though you may have committed to them initially as wanting to serve them, I've had to let clients go because I just couldn't. Either they were too difficult to work with or they weren't implementing what I kept recommending them to implement and it wasn't doing them any good. But there are sometimes you have to then, and that's where then it comes back to being a commitment to you. And so that you're going to honor your commitment to yourself and to respectfully let that client go and preferably find somebody else for them to work with that will still help them out. So it's not like you're just, cutting them loose altogether. You're gonna try to find somebody else to work with them, but sometimes you have to do that. So that's my perspective on that.
I'm so good. See another golden nugget.
Yeah.
Gloria, I'm glad you brought that up, and I want to get to Karen after this. Yes, it's okay. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, you might have to let go of a client because it's just not. It might not be meshing right. I mean, I had 2 clients like that. I had to basically let go, but I did find other avenues for them. I just didn't like, you know what, we're done. I didn't do that. Yeah. It was like, okay, let me find some or research some things, give these to you. But then as I'm giving them to you, you're walking out the door, but in a nice way. So it is, and like you said, Laura, it helps both of you because it helps you not. You're getting frustrated, you're getting stressed out, they're getting frustrated, and then it's like, why are we doing this back and forth? We don't have to do that. So that's another good scenario to bring up. Karen, how about you?
It can be very painful for both of you. I look at it and I've had to do that as well, and I realized it was me. I did not set the boundaries initially. And I did make a commitment that as long as A took place, I would be there. And I would be there for you. But when I saw as the situation that was going on, I had to think how to get out of it. And again, it's like you say, find somebody else to help support if they are interested in going with somebody else, or look at yourself and what was it that you were doing that made you say yes to this client in the first place. And What have you learned from this situation? And how are you going to make those changes so it never happens again?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, those are some good steps. Yes, Karen.
Yep.
Yes. Barbara, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, one client that comes to mind with me is like, you because you want to help them, and she had this, several things that were what I thought were right in my wheelhouse. And every suggestion that I made to her, the only response I got was, "Well, I already know that."
Ah, yes, I had one of those.
So that goes into the intake form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, okay. And so you're exactly right. It was a learning curve for me. When you're a new coach, and so then it was like, okay, and then after the third time she did it to me, it was like, okay, yeah, we're not a good fit. Because I obviously, if you're not going to take my suggestions, because you already know that, and those are the 4 worst words in the English language. I already know that, because it stunts your growth. You just can't do anything else.
Your clothes.
And the truth is, they don't know it, because if they did know it, their life would be different.
Their life would be different.
Exactly. You don't know it. You don't know it until your life is different. So no, you don't. You don't know it.
Or you know it, but you haven't implemented it the way that you're recommending it now. You might have tried. They may have tried it a different way, but they don't know
They don't know.
Well,
right.
Yeah, you're right. Still comes back to no. They don't know.
Yeah. They don't know. Yeah, they don't know, but they haven't been successful. Whatever they're supposed to know, they haven't been successful with it.
Why
so
they hired you?
Yeah, that's why.
And they never will. And I think that's what hurts my heart, is that they never will until they get, because that's their ego talking.
Yeah.
That's not their inner voice of wisdom, their inner wisdom voice.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, I don't care if somebody is brand spanking new. I will listen to something, because if I pick up, and I think Gloria Grace and I talked about this the other day on our podcast, on my podcast, that if you get one nugget out of something that somebody says, that can be the spark that pivot your entire life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
But you got to be open to it. You've got to be open to hear it.
Yes.
And there
It doesn't matter where it's coming from.
No conversation that you're not going to get that nugget if you are really listening. Look at how many we have that I've gotten tonight from this. This is so awesome.
The counting, I love that. The number system, great stuff, Barbara. I mean, I've learned a lot here today.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
And the thing is, you can use that with anything.
Yeah. When you think about it, you can.
You can use it in any situation.
Whether
it's a work function or it's a family thing or whatever it is. You can even do it with yourself.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Okay, Barbara, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you really want to do this?
Yeah.
Right.
Then I'll say a 2. I'm like, oh, there's my answer. And if it comes out quickly. See, another thing I want to add to that before we close out. But if it comes out quickly out your mouth, then that was the first thought. You take that first thought as truth. Because if you're wavering, as I tell people, then it's not, you're thinking too hard. But if you say something, well, Barbara, I want to go and rock climb. I'm like, no, Dad, you said that quick. Well, that really means no then, because it came out quick. There's no thinking there. Think about that.
I think what happens is that we get caught in the, well, I should do it.
Or then they try to make you feel it. That goes, and then they try to make you feel or ask, well, you know what, Barbara? See, if you go, you would feel this, you feel good, and sometimes they be meaning well. And the back of my mind, still saying, but no. I appreciate you, but no. No.
Yeah.
And one of the things for me, I have now learned that no is a complete sentence.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, another gold nugget. Write it down, guys. Anybody that's
Mic
listening
drop.
to this,
My,
write
my
it down.
first
Gold
clients,
nugget.
my first clients, that's what their presentation was on, that I heard them talk about. That was it. No is a complete sentence. And I was like, oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
No.
So with that
Yeah.
said, ladies, I want to just make sure people get your contact information, but please give a last thought real quickly and then how they can contact you. And I'll start with Karen this time.
You know, making a commitment is powerful. It's the only way that we're ever really going to succeed. And we need to keep those commitments to our clients, to our friends and family, and most of all, to ourselves. And it's so important all the way around. And I would like to invite you to come listen to the podcast at, I just got a new website for it, awesomelifepodcast.com.
Well, congratulations, Karen. Miss
Talk to me
Queen.
there.
Look
You
at
can
that.
absolutely contact me there. So,
Okay.
and reach out right there, awesomelifepodcast.com. If you want to be a guest, I'd love to have you. Just let me know there.
So everybody let Karen know you got opportunity. That's visibility. I'm just throwing that in there. That's part of my little training. Get the visibility. So next, Miss Barbara.
I think for me is just be really aware of what you are committing to for yourself. So if you commit to something to yourself, one of the things that I do now is like, if this was a doctor's, if you're thinking of blowing it off, if this was a doctor's appointment, would I still show up at what I've committed to myself that I'm going to do? Yeah, if it was a doctor's appointment, I would do it. Okay, so then do it. Right at that moment. If you've said that you are going to do, like with me now, one of the things that I have, a commitment that I've made to myself, is that I give myself 2 hours of block time where I do income producing activities, 2 hours a day. It might change during the day, but I block out 2 hours a day, because if you don't, your business isn't going to grow. I might move it half an hour or, up and down, but I keep it together. I don't go, oh, well, I'll do that tomorrow. No, you're going to do it now.
No.
So keep that commitment. And how people can get in touch with me, I have a new Bitly link. It's the HTTPS, but bit.ly, Bitly bit.com /life training today. And you can take a look at my Aging Gracefully page. And on there is a spot that you can book on my calendar.
Sounds awesome. Okay, again, everybody, visibility. Reach out to Barbara. She has a podcast.
And I have a podcast.
Yeah. And Miss Gloria.
I would say think before you commit. As just really think hard, do the scale of 1 to 10, but think of your, really get clear on your why and who's involved and what's going to be, is it really, really something you want to commit to? And then do follow through, because it is about, being in integrity with yourself or with whoever else. So just remember to do that. And then give yourself grace if you if you fall back on it, because it might happen and it's okay. And for me, well, gee, surprise, I have a podcast too. So so you can go to liveloveengagepodcast.com and you can check out our episodes. You can contact me there. You can also even apply to be a guest on our show as well. So there you go.
So you know what? Thank you so much, Gloria. There is no excuse. People talking about where do I get visibility? Where can I get on a show? Where can I talk about what I do? Well, you have 3 wonderful queens right here. Well, 4, including me, but I wanted to put them out there first. And they talk about their podcast, their show. Reach out. be a guest. Your uniqueness is so important, and people need to know that. And how do they get to know that? By being on these shows, being on these podcasts. I know I'm on my soapbox. Yes, that's the only way you get out there and get yourself known. And it helps both. It helps both. It helps each podcast person here to get their mission out there because they have a mission for the podcast. And then it helps you get your mission with their mission. So you come together. See, I like that. Come together like a partnership. So, yeah. So I'm going to go take a little bit just as a lasting thought, what Gloria said about think before commit.
That's huge. Yeah.
That is huge. I had to say that again, Gloria, because that's like, okay, even start there before you any commitment. I don't care if it's with yourself, family, friends, clients. You need to think, because once you say yes, I mean, you could say no, but your integrity, trust, integrity, all that stuff starts to come down, and you don't want to have that. You don't want people. You want people to be able to trust you, and have relationships and really fulfilling relationships. And if you keep saying yes to some things and then you're not getting it done, or you I don't want to be here, or whatever the case may be, you can cause a lot of unnecessary stress. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say, quick no instead of a too late a no. And then it's been there on both ends. Mm-hmm. So thank you, ladies, again for coming on. We will be back next month in November. Turkey month. And we won't tell you the topic now. We'll make it a surprise. So just let everybody know that we come on every Thursday, the first Thursday of every month, unless, holiday or something happens. But most of the time, we commit ourselves to come on every month. I got that in there. With that said, thank you, ladies, again. And everybody have a wonderful rest of your month. And we will see you next month under the Diamond Factor perspective. And another topic will be talked about. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.